Hi, everybody!
Hello!
I completely forgot that had the thing in it that said live giveaway. So now we have to do a live giveaway. I forgot that was in the intro video, but that's fine. That's fine. Hello, everybody,
Hi,
and welcome.
guys.
This is your host, Alex, Apostate Alex, and Ash from the TSFU Podcast, because we can't say the F word just yet this early into a stream. But welcome. We're doing Cultober, right?
Yeah, I feel like I just saw myself and I looked frozen. Yes, we are. It's Cultober.
I have no idea what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about, but I've put my little skull candle thing here to make it spooky. I'm wearing my Cult Suck shirt, and I'm all yours, Ash. Take it away.
Alex didn't tell me that we were doing a spooky theme today, so
it's Cultober.
I'm in a plain white t-shirt. Honestly, I was running around and I was like, do I wear pink? It's not Wednesday. Do I wear my brain shirts hurt? No, I wore that on the last video. And so then I just ended up with a white shirt. But here we are. That's okay. It's
fine.
Halloween. Woo! It's not Halloween, but it is spooky season.
It also really does not feel anywhere near spooky season in the UK because we're in the middle of a really big heat wave at the moment. It's actually like summer weather temperature. Like I could have a barbecue right now in London.
Look, though, I can't get the bottom off because it's glued to my screen, but
I like that.
There's a little It Lego, and then I have this. These are just my year-round desk toys.
Nice.
And then I got this candle called Witch's Potion. So I guess I have, I just have some mine is more behind the scenes Halloween stuff going on.
I like it. But yeah, it doesn't feel very Halloweeny here because it's 78 Fahrenheit. It's hot for London. It's barbecue season, even though it's October. But we're here and it's October, so we're going to do the spooky thing. I have no idea what to expect. So Ash, is all over to you. Anyone watching this, if you want to go and support Ash's podcast, there's a link. It's the TSFU the Podcast.com. We did a whole series on Scientology and breaking down the bridge to total freedom, which was just hilarious. Because Ash knows, Ash knew nothing about Scientology, and then we started moving into other cults and groups, coercive control groups. So we interviewed Sarah Edmondson last time, and now we're here to talk about cult movies, and that's as much as I can give you because this is Ash's episode. So over to you.
Thanks, Alex.
Be nice.
Over to you, Ashley. Okay, guys, today it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny. Back to you in the studio. Sorry, that's just what it reminded me of. So, hi, everybody. It's me, Ashley Love Richards.
Can you move so that you're in the middle of the camera? Because you're like this.
Oh, but I know then you can't see my sign. Fine.
That's better. People want to see you, Ash.
Okay. So, what? Shoot. My ADD forgot what I was talking about because you talked about the camera.
You were introducing yourself.
That's right. So anybody who's listening on the audio version, aka a podcast, welcome back to Cultober. And hey guys, if you just watch Apostate Alex and you're watching here and now and you don't listen to my podcast, you should do that too, like Alex said. So yeah, on the podcast, That's So Fucked Up, we have been doing Cultober all month, and I'm putting out episodes Monday through Friday that are spooky, scary, or culty. So it's been really fun. So far this month, we have covered So one thing is Alex, I don't know if you know, you probably know, but I have kind of a lot of co-hosts. I love working with lots of different people.
I'm not the only one, Ash. I know I'm not special. It's fine. We can share.
Shh, don't tell them, but you're my favorite. Don't tell anybody, though. So if you listen on my feed, you might be a little bit confused sometimes, like, who is this? So I did a spooky-sode from 2021, so a couple years ago, with one of our previous audio engineers, Yvette. She was such a sweetheart. She used to co-host some of the episodes and just kind of pop in. And then I did an episode with Michelle last year on the Highgate. Oh, Alex, this is your neck of the woods. The Highgate Cemetery Vampire.
I mean, I know where Highgate Cemetery is.
Do you know about David Ferrant and
I don't.
The two wizards who dueled over the Highgate Cemetery Vampire for years? For decades, these celebrity wizards were dueling. No, wait, they were fighting like through the media, and then they challenged each other to a duel to the death. But no more spoilies, but it was a good time.
I don't live far from Highgate Cemetery. I should go.
You should absolutely go. I will come if I'm in England.
You're welcome anytime.
I'm coming. So also some really other fun stuff. Elsagate, which is a terrifying phenomenon that happened on YouTube a while ago, might still be happening. It's people making really disturbing videos with popular Disney and Marvel characters. Alex, have you heard about this?
No.
Ugh. Okay, you got some episodes to listen to, my friend.
I know.
And the Sarah Lawrence College Cult, and I did that with Amanda Knox. Have you heard of that one? The kids who were, Sloan Woods 9. I know. Yeah. These kids were basically, their dorm was turned into a cult by one of the girls' dads who was a felon who was just going to go get back on his feet. I don't know, Sarah Lawrence College. Maybe don't let felons or people's
anywhere
dads
near children.
Anywhere near the kids. Yeah. So
can I just interrupt? Sorry, just for those of you watching. We are live right now. We will be putting questions up and stuff later. We're gonna get through the podcast episode first, and I'm going to star comments as we go through, and we'll bring them up at the end because this is the first time we're doing it this way. Normally we record our episodes and then chop them up as needed, edit them, and then release them on Ash's podcast and as a live premiere on my channel. And this is the first time we're actually doing a live episode recording as we're live. So please bear with us with the questions. I'll star them and we'll get to them at the end because that makes it easier for us when we release it as an audio podcast on Ash's channel.
And we're doing it like that because I'm hectic, and Alex and I were just going to record him and I this morning. And I was like, but what if we recorded live? So here we are. Also, Alex, I just have to tell you one more thing. If you go to my website, TSFUthepodcast.com, and go to From the Cultoverse, you will find all of my episodes on cults, which is over 70.
I was going to say, there's a lot on there now.
Mm-hmm. You'll find all of our episodes together, the podcast version. And I'm also, week by week, adding the recommendations that I've been giving because I've already given recommendations to some of my co-hosts, Allie and Fallon. And I also did an episode with Roberta Blevins from Life After MLM and gave her some recommendations. So you, my friend, don't tell anybody, but I saved the best for last for you. Cult movies. I did cult TV shows, and then I did movies and shows, a combination about MLMs and TTI, the troubled teen industry, and scams. So all kinds of recommendations coming at you this month from the Cultertainment Corner. But I saved for Alex the best cult movies that I could find. And you guys, I really did. You're welcome. I did the hard research for you on this one. I did the heavy lifting. I watched cult movies and shows and documentaries for weeks for you guys. So you're welcome.
And I have a lot of catching up to do. This is actually going to be quite helpful to me because I haven't seen a lot of films. You've got to remember, I was in Scientology and dedicated my life to that thing. So I'm a little bit behind when it comes to watching things like movies. And there are some movies that I have seen, but I actually have a list of, like, you know, films that people generally have suggested to me, everyone has seen this film, or how have you not seen this? I've got a list, and it's well over 100 movies, and I am trying to, work my way through it. So I'm excited to talk about cult movies because I've seen a couple. We have to at some point obviously talk about The Master, which I'm sure will come up, and I have seen that one. And there's a couple I think that you're going to talk about that I may have seen, but who knows? I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to taking them back and watching them after your recommendations.
Yes. And since this episode is coming out today, I will since this episode is obviously coming out today on Alex's channel, I will go ahead and put up links to all of the movies that I recommend today. So that'll be under the From the Cultoverse tab on the website. All right, Alex, are you fucking ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
Well,
give it to me good, Ash.
You know what? Let's go ahead and, you gave a great segue. Let's talk about The Master because, yes, sir, that is on my fucking list. Duh.
So The Master, I love, is a great film. And L. Ron Hubbard is actually here with us in the chat, and he left a comment. I said I wasn't going to pull comments out till the end, but this one I had to. L. Ron Hubbard has commented, "Don't mention The Master." For those of you who don't know, The Master is a film that is totally fiction and was released as fiction and totally has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Scientology. But it totally does, and it totally is the story of Scientology. It's a great film. Philip Seymour Hoffman and what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yes, it's one of those psycho thrillers that it's just a weird film. Like you walk away from it going, "Oh, that was weird," but that is perfect because it encapsulates the Scientology story so well. Like L. Ron Hubbard, who is the master in the film, has a ship, and Joaquin Phoenix
they never explicitly say that.
No, because they know that they would get sued to shit if they were to mention Scientology. So they have different names for everything. The book Dianetics has a different name. L. Ron Hubbard has a different name. So it is a work of fiction, but it follows the story of L. Ron Hubbard, and it is perfect. It shows the fact that someone can watch that film and not know anything about Scientology and walk away from it feeling weird. I think they did a really good job of showing how the mind games work in Scientology, and they absolutely had someone on the team who knew a lot about Scientology to advise them, not just on the history, but also on the way it actually works, because it does make you walk away feeling icky, and that's what Scientology does.
Did you know when you watched it that it was a movie definitely about Scientology?
Yeah, so I was in Scientology when The Master came out, and it was one of those ultimate, don't watch it, it's a really bad film, it's about Scientology, and so I didn't. So you never do, because it's like, it's called black PR in Scientology. Anything that's negative or bad about Scientology, you want to avoid, because it interpolates you, which means it upsets you or whatever. So stay away was the message that I got when I was in Scientology. So I didn't watch it until about a year ago. And obviously by that point, I knew more about the film, and I watched it, and the whole time I was like, oh my God, this is so true. This is Scientology. It's a really good film.
I had no idea going into the movie that it was about Scientology, because obviously
it's a work of fiction, Ash. It's got nothing to do with Scientology.
Absolutely.
That's their PR line.
They don't say that. Pardon me. And it's funny because if I didn't know what I know now about Scientology, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have made those connections. But as I was watching it, I was like, does anybody know that this is about Scientology? Does everybody realize that? Because I saw it recommended on a TikTok or a Reel or something. And they just said that it was about a cult leader and one of his followers and the manipulative dynamics and stuff. So
it's like how Devil Wears Prada is not about Anna Wintour and Vogue, but it totally is. It's the same with The Master. The Master isn't about Scientology, but it totally is. Everybody knows that that's what it actually is, but their PR line, because they don't want to get sued because they wouldn't have the rights to be able to make an actual biographical thing and all of this. They say it's a work of fiction, but it's 100% the case.
I love you. I had no idea that The Devil Wears Prada was
what
after like a real person. You're like, everybody knows that The Devil Wears Prada is about Anna Winters from Vogue.
So yeah, Devil Wears Prada is all about Vogue, right? And Meryl
also
Streep's
a great
character,
movie.
Great movie. Meryl Streep's character is basically Anna Wintour, who is the head of American Vogue,
She's
works
not
for Condé
nice.
Nast. And well, I used to work in fashion, so Anna Wintour she's a very hardworking person that can be a bit cold and a bit icy. And that's what they portray in Devil Wears Prada. And I think it's it's just a classic example of how like it's a work of fiction, but it's based on reality.
Well, interestingly, don't you think that fashion is kind of culty, high fashion?
That's a whole episode we should do.
I know there is something fucking weird going on there, Alex.
I used to be the executive director of the third largest men's fashion magazine in the UK. I was flown from London to Paris every weekend, had a glass of champagne on arrival every time I was to go somewhere. It was all very much like, oh yes, hello, how are you? Oh, lovely. It's very that.
Do you do the air kisses? Is that a real thing in London?
It is a real thing. If you've seen Emily in Paris, it is a perfect depiction of what it's like working in fashion in Paris. Devil Wears Prada is very much what it's like working for a high-end fashion magazine. I used to work for Elle, which is, Vogue's main competitor. So very qualified to talk about fashion and very qualified to talk about cults. So
you're how old?
We should do an episode.
You're how old?
I'm 28.
You guys, he's 28 and he's like...
I started my first business at the age of 16.
He's been in
18.
He had a whole Scientology career, a whole fashion career. Now he has a whole anti-cult activism career. I mean, gee whiz. That's a lot of life.
And that's why people think I don't sleep.
Exactly.
There are 24 hours in a day. As long as I sleep for 6 of them or whatever, I'm okay.
Ew,
that leaves 18 hours to work.
I need 8 at least.
Well, I probably need more hours of sleep, but whether I actually get them or not is another question.
Well, you don't want to fuck around with me and find out on less than 8 hours, So it's just better for everybody. Okay, are you ready for the next one?
Give it to me.
All right, so this one is, I would say, probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. For probably a week afterwards, every time I went to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I looked up into the corner of the ceiling just to make sure that nobody was there.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Guess.
I can't remember what it is called. Is it the one with the girl that's like with the attic? The little
girl with the attic. She gets her.
Yeah.
Hereditary.
The treehouse scene. Hereditary. That's it. Yes. I've seen Hereditary.
Oh my God.
So creepy.
Okay. I'm not going to give full spoilers for anybody in the chat, but Alex, you know what I'm talking about when the person who's like an amazing fucking actress is on the ceiling or like in the corner doing her thing. And that haunted my life for at least a week. I was screaming in the theater, and then it was funny because there was a very flamboyant man sitting by himself next to us, and so he was kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe I came by myself. And he was like with me and my friend. We all kind of grouped together because we were all terrified. Alex, since I'm going to be synopsizing a lot of these, why don't you give a synopsis of this incredible movie by A24 that also made Midsommar that I'm going to talk about too?
Well, all I could tell you about Hereditary is I sat down and watched it with some friends. We had like a Halloween movie night a couple of years ago, and it was like, let's go watch a film. And then as it was starting, it was at that point I decided to tell my friends, I don't really like horror films, right? And they were like, oh, okay. And I was like scared shitless. It was horrifying and a horrible experience, but it was also a great film. Is Hereditary the one where she makes like the clicking noise?
Yeah.
Okay. So that I remember.
It's absolutely a horror movie.
I remember it was like it was a dark part of the scene where there was no one like talking or anything, and I was sat next to my friend, and we had the lights off, obviously, he's watching a film, and I leant up to her ear and I just went, and she went, she screamed. It was hilarious. But yeah, no, it's a great film.
So you guys,
even though I don't like horror films.
I don't really want to. I don't want to say why it's a cult movie because that will give too much away. It just I want to say that it's in that category. It's about a family that the matriarch, the mother of the main character, who's Toni Collette, her mom, is pretty fucking out there. You can tell they had like a weird relationship. And then a couple people, some accidents happen. I don't know. I don't want to give away too much. I highly recommend. Should I maybe like, you know what? Let me read the IMDb synopsis.
It's like there's a thing in the family that comes down that is inherited. That's why it's called Hereditary.
Yes.
And it's very, very spooky.
Okay. When the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter and grandchildren begin to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry, trying to outrun the sinister fate they have inherited.
That's a good synopsis. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it looks like IMDb or Google wrote that. So, yeah, they did better than me. Yeah, 7.3 IMDb, 90% Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not just certified fresh by me. I think you have to be 100% to be certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's fucking crazy. Like, who gets 100? So, anyways, it's fresh as fuck. So actually, somebody mentioned in the chat, Midsummer better be on there, and 100%, you guys, it fucking is. Have you seen Midsummer? Also by A24 that did Hereditary?
No, I don't think so.
They are an amazing production company. I generally trust when they release something that it's probably going to be good. So Midsummer.
I'm just Googling it now, and the pictures look really familiar. Like, I think I've seen it talked about, but I haven't seen it. It does look good, though. It looks very culty.
Oh, it's very culty. So a couple travels to Sweden to visit their friend's rural hometown for its fabled Midsummer Festival. But what begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult.
Paganism is coming back, you know. It's definitely growing.
Style?
I think like more people are joining those kind of down to earth paganistic type groups, because I think it started the whole vegan movement and, not eating meat and being good for the planet. And I think a small number of people have taken that to the extreme, and then thought about the whole yoga, spirituality, cult type thing. And they've kind of, and a smaller proportion of those have drifted off into the whole paganism thing, which is interesting to say the least.
It's kind of nature-based, right?
Yeah, it's all about like being at one with Mother Earth, and like, that I'm not going to try and summarize the whole pagan belief system because I'm certainly not qualified to do so.
Come on, Alex.
It's old school, isn't it? So it's what a lot of people lived by back in the days, right, pre-Christianity.
Yes, I knew that.
And it's all about the sun, the moon, the star, like the natural world. Yeah.
Solstices and whatnot.
Says. Solstices, yeah.
So
pagan beliefs. Let's see what Google says. Pagans believe that nature is sacred and that natural cycles of birth, growth, and death observed in the world around us carry profoundly spiritual meanings. Human beings are seen as part of nature, along with other animals, trees, stones, plants, and everything else that is of this earth.
Okay, I could totally see how veganism came out of that.
I'm not saying veganism came out of that, and I'm not saying all vegans are pagan. I'm just saying that the vegan movement has created an uprising in people looking at their place in the world and being natural and true to the earth and what it wants and stuff. And a small proportion of those people have created a revival in the pagan belief, because it is all about nature and what the world wants rather than corporate capitalism and eating meat and all that.
Okay, here's an ethical question for you.
I like ethics, especially I don't like Scientology ethics, but I know a lot about I like talking about Scientology ethics.
Okay, well, this is about Scientology ethics, but
Scientology ethics is generally unethical, which is quite funny.
So I find this interesting. It's not something that has been, I think, as far as I know, totally historically verified, but it's rumored to have happened in several cultures, and it makes a lot of sense. So I don't see why it wouldn't have. But I can say this: the movie, also directed by Ari Aster, you guys. So Ari Aster, amazing film director. But the movie, in the beginning, has a pretty shocking scene where some of the elderly people in the community voluntarily jump off of a really high cliff, because once you get to a certain age and you're no longer contributing to the community, you're sort of a to be blunt, a burden. You're just eating food and people are having to take their time and energy to take care of you. And this wasn't super fucking sustainable back in the day, You're farming and hunting and whatnot to try to just feed your kids who are still growing and strong. So anyways, it's rumored that, and in this movie, and it's also in Viking culture, called the Attistup, or the Attistupen, one of the two. But the elders volunteer to jump to their deaths. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a ridiculous thing. I don't think anybody should. What sort of a question is that, Ash? What do you think about these people jumping off cliffs voluntarily?
I think it's good. I think I would be like, you guys, you're right. I'm so curious. You guys tell us in the chat what you think, because I think that if you're down,
we're in a day and age where someone's ability to contribute to society is not determined on their physical well-being.
No, but we're talking about
someone is old.
Think and hundreds of years ago, Alex.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Think about, just because someone is old and maybe disabled, for example, that doesn't mean they can't contribute to society and do great things.
I'm like, get them out.
Even if we go back thousands of years before modern medicine and before, we have the whole services industry, when it was like hunter-gatherer mentality, there is still a place for people, regardless of their physical well-being.
I feel so mean. Nobody in the chat is giving opinions, and I'm so curious if I'm the asshole or if Alex is a lot nicer than me. Whatever. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I just think practically, it makes sense. But hey, I don't know. I love old people. I sound... you made me look like a dick. Now I'm like, I'm all uncomfortable.
You said it, Ash.
It's an interesting...
Yes.
Selena says she's not jumping.
I think, because what you're talking about is not in modern day. You're talking about when we were living as hunter-gatherers before the invention of the whole services industry. And I can understand the idea behind someone who isn't able to go and hunt and gather things because it's a hunter-gatherer society. Well, yeah, what is their use in society? So, but I think the question is why did those people not come up with a way of making those people useful rather than just telling them to go jump off a cliff, right? They could perhaps stay at home and make clothes, or make pottery and like tools and things to go and hunt and cook with. Like there are things you can do from the home environment without being physically needed to go and hunt and gather in that environment. I think telling them to jump off a cliff is a little bit extreme.
Well, Ellen says watch them ones with colored hair. Ellen, you're right. You know what? Thanks, Renee. High five. Renee is not making me feel like a psychopath, and I appreciate it. I don't know. I just think it's a very interesting question. I mean, also consensual cannibalism, but that's a whole other story. You know, like that's a whole another one. That's a really different day, Alex. Yeah. Anyways, I highly recommend Midsummer. I don't know. For me, it definitely got me thinking about different cultures and their rituals and yeah, I don't know. There's some really interesting stuff.
When is Midsummer set? Is it set back in the medieval times or something?
It's set in modern day. Ooh. But these people are living. So look,
though they were.
I don't support that today. Okay, can we make that? I'm not like kill all the old people. Can we make that clear? I'm just saying. I think. Maybe in certain cases, a long time ago, it was a practical thing. That's all I'm saying. But no, the movie, they are definitely a cult living like they're back in time. And imagine you go to a cult that's living back in time and then you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. No, I don't like that at all.
It's like the opposite of Scientology, where when you sign your billionaire contract and you become old, and what they do is stick you in a care home that is like meets the bare minimum requirements to be legally operational, and they force you to work until you literally can't work anymore. They get you to write letters and to call people, and whatever you possibly can do, you will be working for the church until you can't. And if you get, for example, a pension, because you're an elderly person, that money goes straight to Scientology. They totally are guilty of elder abuse. And it's like the complete opposite of this Midsummer thing.
So listen, if that's me, I'm choosing the cliff. I don't want to work to the
Let's not get into this conversation, Ash. I think the solution is to help those people get out. With the Aftermath Foundation.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, Scientology is obviously bad. Cults are bad, and living like you're in the medieval times
Isn't that what the Amish do?
21st century?
Don't the Amish people live like there's no technology and like
they do? And I think generally that's okay if that's what you want to do. Unfortunately, a lot of abuse goes on in Amish communities because when communities become really insular and self-policing and secretive, unfortunately, a lot of it's a breeding ground for abuse. So I am going to cover that at some point. I'm definitely not saying that is happening in all Amish communities, but I think
we should do an episode on Amish and the Mennonites. And
yeah, no, it's really interesting stuff.
Give me another movie, Ash.
Okay. Charlie Says. You probably haven't heard of it. It's kind of indie, actually. So, you guys, I did a 2-part episode.
Oh my god, yeah. My name is Ash, and I'm like so into like indie movies. You wouldn't have heard of it.
Oh my god, so cool. Shut up. No, it's like I found it on Netflix or something because I looked for cult movies. It's I listened to records before they came back into style. So
of course,
I actually didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't. I totally just jumped on the bandwagon like a couple years ago because my boyfriend listens to records. So Charlie Says is about 3 of the Manson girls after they go to prison, and they basically they're in isolation for years, just the 3 of them. And it's essentially this echo chamber of them just parroting things that Charlie had said. And it's about a woman, based on a true story, who goes and tutors them. And it's primarily based on Leslie Van Houten and a book that was written about her called the long prison journey of Leslie Van Houten, and it was written by the social worker who worked with them and who developed a really amazing relationship with Leslie. So I did a 2-part episode on her recently. She was released from prison earlier this year after 54 years of being incarcerated for taking part in a murder. She didn't actually kill anyone, and she was in jail for 54 years. And so many other people that were incarcerated with her that actually murdered people and stuff got paroled, and she was given parole 5 times and had it overturned 5 times because the victims' families were just like, this woman cannot get out. Anyways, Leslie's story is a really, really good example of why people need to have a better understanding of bounded choice and coercive control, because when you're 19 and on LSD all the time and being mind controlled by one of the most infamous cult leaders of our fucking time, hi, maybe you're not making the most sound decisions.
With Scientology techniques, might I add.
Right. No, because, I mean, who did Hubbard rip off from? He ripped a lot off from somebody. Yeah, everybody. And then a lot of people ripped off from him because he took a lot of everybody's good stuff. He like cherry picked it and was like, bam, ultimate. So then people took pages out of his book that were probably not originally his pages. So who spoke to Leslie? Oh my God, if you have spoken to Leslie and you know Leslie, reach out to me. Sorry, I just saw that in the fucking chat. TSFU the Podcast at gmail.com. Like, I need to talk to you.
Idealborg, aka CEO Bill. True story. I worked for a company that sold fancy newspaper reprints. One of the Manson women would order stuff sometimes, and he was mentioned. Still completely indoctrinated and crazy. We spoke on the phone twice. She called him Charlie.
I wonder which Manson woman, though. I don't like to refer to them as Manson girls or Manson women anymore, though, because, you know, like, I think that's like, it was like 54 years ago. But anyways, the movie Charlie Says, super duper good. Next on my list is Martha Marcy May Marlene. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's with
Ash. I was in Scientology as a teenager. I didn't watch any of these films.
They are probably, most of them, 5 to 10 years old. So
that's when I would have been in Scientology.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's called Martha Marcy May Marlene, and it's with like the youngest Olsen twin. You know, Elizabeth Olsen. And she, after several years of living with a cult, she finally escapes and calls her estranged sister, Lucy, played by Sarah Paulson, who is my queen, for help. Martha finds herself at the quiet Connecticut home Lucy shares with her new husband, Ted, but the memories of what she experienced in the cult make peace hard to find. As flashbacks continue to torment her, Martha fails to shake a terrible sense of dread, especially in regard to the cult's manipulative leader. So this one is actually 2021, yeah, so 12 years old. And this one is really, really good because it shows the after effects of somebody who's been under the coercive control of somebody, and it's called Martha May Marlene because, like in a lot of cults,
I'm going to be honest, that's not a very good name for a film. It's too much of a tongue twister. I feel like I would forget that name.
Oh, I think it's great. What do you guys think? But yeah, so a lot of her behavior is just really strange and predictable, and very hard for her sister to figure out. So I think it's really good to kind of give some perspective to people who have not been in coercive groups to see what kind of mind fuckery goes on far after you've left the group sometimes, you know?
I think this is a big thing for me. This is why I speak out and talk about my experiences and give other people a platform to do the same, because people don't realize how deep the programming goes in these groups, right? I didn't realize 6 years after leaving the group, I didn't realize I was still doing something. I was thinking in the same way that Scientology had taught me to think, because it goes so deep and you do it so much, and it takes over your life, because you're in Scientology. If you work for them, you're in Scientology buildings surrounded by Scientologists all day, every day. You're indoctrinated, and it really changes the way you think and the way you process information. And that's one of the longer term effects that Scientology has, is it literally changes the way that you process information and how you think about it. You know, there's suppressing emotions and all of this, and also obviously trauma, depending on what people went through when they were in the group. But even if you put all of that to one side, if you didn't have any trauma and you just joined and you had an okay time and then you left and nothing really happened to you, it is still damaging in and of itself, because the techniques train your brain to think in a certain way. And that is really, really hard to undo. And that's what takes a long time.
And you've even mentioned that to me, that sometimes even, you know, nowadays you'll realize, oh, that
every single day. Yeah,
kind
without
of skewed
a doubt.
because of Scientology.
Yeah, every single day.
Yeah, they really. And you guys, that reminds me, go to apostatealex.com if you want to get the Ash and Alex official crossover t-shirt. It says my brain hurts because Scientology made my brain hurt. And I think probably most sane people, it would also, you know, I'm not saying anybody that sounded wrong. I just mean anybody who's hearing it all in one dose, like I did. Like, you know, people in Scientology, obviously, they're on a much longer program. I found out about the Antichrist and Buddha, etc., within a couple months. Lucky for me.
This is the t-shirt. If you want to get yourselves one, let's do a giveaway as well. If you want to put a comment in the chat right now, give me a t-shirt or just the number 1, doesn't matter what it is, light the chat up and we'll do a countdown, like 5 seconds or something, and we'll give one of these away.
Right.
So this,
right. Right. Ash and Alex are the best. That's what you have to write.
Right. Ash and Alex are the best.
Yeah.
Or my brain hurts. That's a good one.
Okay. Oh, sure. Yeah.
But this is the t-shirt, and then this is the back. It says Ash and Alex, they did it well, which is a little take on our theme tune from our old series. So you can get these from apostatealex.com, but we're going to give one away in 5,
4,
3, go on, Ash. Yeah.
2, 1. Blast off.
And Renee B. Renee! My brain does hurt. Mine too.
Dude, mine too. 1. See, yeah, no, she did all the stuff. Good
Renee,
stuff, you guys. Yay,
congratulations.
Renee.
You've won a t-shirt. Drop me an email, hello@apostatealex.com.
You've won a t-shirt.
And I will arrange getting that to you. Just drop me an email and I will send you in return a link to redeem one for free. Congratulations.
If you also think before the episode ends that we should give away a tote bag, go ahead right now and write tote in the chat. Ready, go.
Sounds good. And while you're doing that, should we crack on with the next film?
Crack the fuck on. The Invitation. Oh, this is a good one. I don't know off the top of my head where you can stream it, but like I said, I will put links to that on my website. So The Invitation, this was kind of an indie movie, Alex. So maybe not that many people have heard of it.
It's because like you're so cool and you listen to records and yeah.
Yeah. So like you guys might not have heard of it, but it's on Netflix. So, you know, you probably have. Wait, no, that's not the right invitation. Mine is older. Yeah, no, this one is not on Netflix anymore. It's on Peacock and Tubi. This one is really good. It's about a dinner party that this man attends at his former home of him and his wife and their child who died. So, you see him having flashbacks. It's very intense. And he starts to believe that his ex-wife and his new husband might have some sinister plans for the evening. And the movie really shows how when you're in a cult or a dangerous situation or a coercive group, they gaslight you into going against your gut, obviously, because all throughout the movie, he's like, that's weird. He's picking up on signals and, very good movie, you guys. But yeah, it's really about how coercive groups are great at gaslighting you out of trusting your intuition or noticing red flags.
Yeah, you get trained to shoot down the red flags and think, okay, that might be a little bit weird, but I'm willing to give them, a chance or benefit of the doubt. And then you get to the next thing, and you don't take a minute to look back and, reflect, because when you leave, you're like, how did I not notice that red flag? And it's like, well, because it was one little thing. And then you kind of, it gets explained away. And then there's another thing that comes up and you never stop to think and put them all together and think, hold on, this and this and this and this. That's kind of hard to do when you're being manipulated. I'm just going to say, I'm reading the description here on IMDb, and it says 6 people are invited to a remote island by a famous author for dinner. Mm-mm. Right. I'm not being funny, but
that's a different movie.
The Invitation.
Mine's 2015.
Oh, I'm at 2003. It's a different one.
Oh, I just found one from 2020 or 2022. Yeah. Like, you guys come up with different lots fucking of invitation movie films. Names.
Well,
Jesus.
I was going to say about this one, any horror film description that starts with 6 people are invited to a remote island, don't go.
Don't go anywhere remote.
If someone invites you to a remote island and it's in like October, don't just say no.
Oh, I mean, in that case, too, it's okay. I didn't love it, but the menu is about a bunch of people who go to a remote island to eat the dinner, or eat the food of this famous chef, and it's culty. It's funny because working in a fucking kitchen can be pretty culty. Yes, chef, So it is kind of interesting pointing out, like, don't go anywhere remote, and a lot of things can get a little bit culty. What up? A little bit culty. You guys, if you haven't watched our interview with Sarah yet from last week, get on it. What are you doing?
Sarah Edmondson's awesome.
Wait, get on it or get out. Have you seen Get Out?
No.
Oh my gosh. I'm guessing a lot of people watching, listening have seen Get Out. It was done by Jordan Peele, who is also a fucking amazing director. Now that Chris and his girlfriend Rose have reached the meet the parents milestone of dating, she invites him for a weekend getaway upstate with her parents. At first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship. The family is very wealthy and white. They have a staff that is a man and woman of color, and then the boyfriend Chris is black. So there's just it just feels like weird racial tension, and they're kind of trying to deal with that. But as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries lead him to truth that he never could have imagined. So I didn't find this list on other cult movie listicles. I mean, I didn't find this movie, which I thought was fucking crazy because it's so culty. It's again pretty good at showing how you can see these little red flags and kind of dismiss them and have them waved off by the people around you. And Yeah, it's 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. You guys, 7.8 on IMDb. Like, don't take my word for it. Take that, you know. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking amazing. Somebody just said The Path. That is a show, I believe, Mr. Hubbard, and that was recommended on my cult show episode.
Yeah, The Path is a good one. I don't think you can get it in the UK. I looked at it and there was only one place where you could get it and you had to pay per episode. So I'm waiting for the new license to come out so that I can get it a bit cheaper or free or something. Or figure out a way around it. But I do hear really good things about The Path. But it's a TV series, right? It's not a film.
Okay. Yeah. It's American people or people living in the United States. It is on Hulu. Yeah, that's a really good one. And if you guys want to hear my recommendations for cult shows and some other stuff, like I said at the top, definitely check out my Culturetainment Corner episodes over at TSFU, the podcast, going on every Monday through October. So many culty recommendations.
Ash, before we start to wrap up, because I know we're coming up to an hour now, I want to ask you a question. What would you say is your favorite or number one, if you had to pick one, cult movie of all time?
Fuck, that's really hard. Maybe Hereditary, just because I think it's amazing. Also, Get Out is so good.
Every time you say Get Out,
Midsummer.
Every time you say Get Out, I think of the song by JoJo. You know, Get Out right now. It's the end of you and me. Yeah.
Too late. It's over. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think that's good. I would probably say The Master, but that's not because I'm biased with the whole Scientology thing. I genuinely like it because the sort of film I like is a film that you walk away from thinking, oh, that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. I don't like jump scare, horror typical movies. I like movies that make you think, like psychological thriller type stuff. And I think The Master is a really good example of that, because you just feel weird after watching it, and that is I think a good film because it makes you feel something rather than just, oh, I'm scared. Like, it's actually getting your brain working.
I definitely see what you're saying, although I would argue that, let me know after you watch some of these, but I would argue that a lot of these get into your brain and make you think. But Hereditary definitely does also scare the fucking shit out of you.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to wrap up, you guys. I'm just going to give a few slight synopses while we're talking about, how cults get into your brain and stay in your brain. There's a really good movie called The Lodge, where a new stepmom goes to never go anywhere remote. And she's...
Oh, my God. I think I've seen that one. Is that the one where it's like in the woods and it's just...
Yeah. Snowing. It's snowing. Yeah. So we can't go into it, but it's really good, right?
Well, look, yes, it's good, but it's also horror. Like, I hate horror films, but it's good. Yes.
It is scary though, you guys. And then I have a few fun ones. Have you seen Ready or Not or heard about it? It's about this. It's not Margot Robbie. It's another girl. She's awesome. A bride gets married on her wedding night, and obviously she gets married on her wedding night, but then she goes to her new in-laws mansion and shit gets crazy really quick, but it's really fun. Another fun one is Cabin in the Woods. It is a horror movie, but it's also a comedy. It's really fucking old, Alex. You might have seen it.
I'm Googling it right now. I think I may have seen Cabin in the Woods.
It's
but Googling it just brings up really nice pictures of lovely Airbnbs.
That's weird. I would actually think the movie would come up really quick.
Yes, I've seen this film. I have seen this film.
It's fun.
That's a good one. I like that one because it's a good balance of horror, but not too jump scary. Didn't hate it, but it was a good watch.
Yeah, so that's a really fun one. And then, Alex, this is totally pre-Scientology, but also maybe post your time. I don't know.
Well, pre-Scientology, I would have been a teenager. The Craft. No.
Okay. Anybody born in like 1986 or after or before definitely knows what I'm talking about.
When do you think I was born, Ash?
8 years after me. So like 95. Yeah, oh my God, that's so crazy. So you guys, The Craft is a movie from 1996. Yeah, so Alex was
one. Yeah.
Just a baby. It'd be weird if you were watching this. But you guys, it's with Cindy Prescott.
I haven't seen The Craft.
You have?
I believe it's The Craft. I might be wrong. I believe it's The Craft. Degraded Daughters of Dianetics, Vanessa and Alicia, have a scene, I think it's this film, from this film that they use in their outro, which is really funny. Yeah, it's the same sort of era as Hackers. Hackers is my favorite film of all time, probably. Like typical
you would
90s
love this
stuff.
then. Also, it is kind of scary though. It's kind of scary. It's about teenage witches, which doesn't sound that scary.
Yes.
But I don't know if you guys have met teenage girls. They're fucking terrifying. So it's very scary, but it is fun. It's with Neve Campbell from Scream, which is a cult classic, which is a totally different kind of cult movie. But hello, Scream. Have you seen Scream? Because I'm going to have to.
Ash, we have work to do.
What? Oh my God.
List. I have a whole list.
Okay, you have so much to do. So you guys, that concludes my Culturetainment Corner cult movie recommendations. And now we have to do that tote giveaway because a lot of people did say tote. So let me get a tote really quick so we can show everybody. And Alex, you tell them what to say.
So Ash is going to give away a tote. So while she does that, you guys need to put in the chat Cultober, because that is the theme of this month. So write the word Cultober in the chat, and this is what you're going to get. Our lovely model, our product model Ash here is showing. Yeah, we need some of that cheesy music in the background. It can carry things, it can hold things, it can even hang on your shoulder. Everybody wants themselves a TSFU tote bag. This is the tote bag, everybody. Thank you, Ash.
Exclusively from the Patreon. So if you're not, you guys, only patrons get this.
So you can't get one of these unless you're a patron on Ash's TSFU podcast.
That's exclusive as fuck.
So yeah, stick the word Cultober in the chat, and we will choose someone in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Jeff! No way!
Hey, Jeff!
Oh my God.
Jeff, I'm going to write you back.
Jeff.
I just cleaned my email inbox the other day, and it was like the craziest shit in the world. But, buddy, you are on my to-email list.
That is mad. What are the chances? Jeff, congratulations. Jeff's awesome.
Jeff.
For those of you who don't know, Jeff has a channel, PTS for Life. He is a former Scientologist. He lives in Vancouver. He's just started his channel talking about his experience in Scientology. He's got 2,500 subs already, which is amazing.
Whoa.
And so yeah, go and check him out. But Jeff, drop me a text. I will sort that out for you and give your details to Ash, and she'll send you a tote back. Congrats.
Hell yeah. Or just email me your address directly and I'll write you back.
Okay.
There we go.
We'll sort it.
So Alex, what are you going to watch first of my recommendations? What's your first?
That's a really good one.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I want to watch, I don't know, there was one you said, what was the second one you were talking about that I hadn't seen?
It's Midsummer.
I want to go and watch that one.
Crazy debate about people.
The big debate. Yeah,
off.
let's not go back into that. But I want to watch that one because look, I've seen pictures of it and it does look really good.
It's really good. And if you thought Hereditary was good but too scary, then you'll like it because it's same director, so amazing filmmaking but less scary.
There we go.
And before then you have to text me immediately and tell me how much you love it.
I will. Don't you worry. And before we wrap up, let's just do a couple of these super chats, right? Jeff actually commented at the beginning of the stream. Apostate Alex is also the most handsome co-host. There's a bit of a bromance going on between me and Jeff right now because I made him feel really uncomfortable yesterday on live stream he did, where I said, have you, I think my question to him was, I have a question. Have you always been this handsome or is it just since leaving Scientology? So now he's trying to get back at me.
Well, you guys are both bearded gingers, so
We are. It's a whole ginger thing going on.
It's kind of like that whole thing. Like, would you fuck yourself if you had the chance, like as a clone? You know, I'm coming with all the wild questions today. Okay.
Oh my God, Matamir,
let the people talk.
Meet me Sophia. On the graveyard with a wand.
I'm so sorry if you don't. Shoot. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if people want anonymity, but hi, friend. Sorry.
Pretty new project. My favorite Halloween movie is Halloween 1 and 2 and Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Rob Zombie movies are fucking terrifying. I saw the House of a Thousand Corpses, and it's the scariest, most disturbing thing I've ever seen. So, ugh.
L. Ron Hubbardub himself. We all know YouTube is a cult. We are all here. Well, you're not wrong. YouTube, SBTV is a bit culty, but there's nothing wrong with it because that's the difference. We talked about this before. Things can be a little bit culty, like Sarah Edmondson's podcast, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily harmful. You know, gym freaks, for example, people who have their little gym cults and stuff, like that's fine. It's a bit culty, but it's not controlling or manipulative.
Just kidding. I'm not CrossFit, you guys, but yeah, you know, if you and your workout buddies are having a good time, you know.
There we go. And another comment here, Elron Hubbard, last one, get Alex to 10K. Thank you. The reason Elron Hubbard is saying this, actually, Ash, is we spoke about this previously before we went live. I'm organizing a protest against Scientology because they're having a massive event in the UK next month, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of November. And it's going to be it looks like it's going to be the largest anti-Scientology protest that has happened in probably about a decade. It's huge, and the whole idea is sending Scientology a clear message. And the reason Elron Hubbard here is asking for 10K subs is because when you get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can do a fundraiser, which means all the money from super chats and stuff can go directly to a charity of your choosing, and YouTube don't take a cut. So if I get 10,000 subs, I'm almost there. I'm just at 9,100 or something now. If I can get to 10K before the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of November, I will live stream the protest on YouTube as a fundraiser for the Aftermath Foundation. So that's why he's saying that. If we can get there, that would be awesome. So yeah, if you're listening to this on Ash's podcast, come and follow me, please. My name is Apostate Alex on YouTube.
Yeah, it's super easy. Literally, YouTube, type in Apostate Alex. He's very right there. And you know what? If you guys are listening and you also listen on other channels or to other Alex videos, spread the word, because all of our videos get about 1,500 views. And I think it's the same 1,500 people. And I fucking love them. You guys, thank you so much for liking me. Because Alex normally does more serious stuff. But tell a
I love
friend.
it. You're welcome anytime, Ash. I love that we're friends. Like, even though we're on the other side of the world, like the episodes I do with you are among the most fun, exciting things that I do on my channel, and help it not get too bogged down in the depths of depressive Scientology talk.
Bummerish for sure.
And it's just your face. Your face always makes me smile, because I'll tell you something random about Scientology that I just haven't thought about or didn't realize was wild, and then your facial reaction will say to me, I didn't realize that was actually really wacky.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna start doing some TikTok videos that are called The Many Faces of Ashley, because I have started noticing how dirty Riverside does me on all the stills. Every fucking still, I'm like doing
I love it.
Some weird shit. So that should be fun. Look out for that, you guys.
It. Well,
thanks
guys,
for listening and
thank
watching,
you for tuning in. Yes,
being here.
If you want to support the channel, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. If you want to support the podcast, what do you ask them to do? Rate and review.
Yeah, reviewing on Apple is fucking awesome, or leaving us 5 stars on Apple or Spotify. Just subscribing, listening. That's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think in the comments. but we'll be back soon with the next one.
And hit me up at TSFU the Podcast on Instagram and let me know what your favorite movies are from the list. Woo!
I love it. Thank you so much, guys. See you later.